Hi there again. Now, today in our literacy lesson, we are going to be looking at using adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. So, to be successful today, we're going to see if we can explain what adjectives, verbs, and adverbs are. We're going to see if we can use some adjectives, verbs, and adverbs in sentences. We're going to see if we can use appropriate punctuation in sentences. And we're going to see if we can up-level our vocabulary choices. So we're not just using the easiest words, but we're using words that are maybe a bit more interesting as well. Now, the first thing we need to be able to do is know what adjectives, verbs, and adverbs are. So just pause the video for a second and see if you had to explain what each of those are to somebody, would you be able to explain them? Do you know what adjectives are? Adjectives are words that describe nouns, they describe things. Verbs are the action words or the doing words. So verbs tell you what to do. Like we talked about when we did instructions, we looked at imperative verbs that are bossy verbs. They tell you what to do. A verb in a sentence is the doing word, it's the action, the thing that's happening. Adverbs help to describe what's happening. They help to describe those verbs. So an adjective might be a word like brown or big. Those words describe what things are like. Verbs might be things like get, drive. They're things that you're doing. Adverbs might be words like carefully, sensibly. They say how to do each of those things. Now, we're going to be looking at, for the next couple of weeks, letters and diaries. And a letter is very similar to a postcard. And thinking about postcard features, they need to begin with a greeting. They're written in the first person using I because they're written by you. They're written a bit like a conversation. They're quite friendly. They're written in the past tense because they talk about things that have already happened. And they could include a question as well. So each of those things would be features, parts of a postcard. And we're going to be looking at postcards and letters and diaries for the next 2 weeks. So it's good that you've got an idea of what those features are. Now, I've got an example of text that might go on a postcard next. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the words in the text, and we're going to see if we can identify some of those things, the adjectives, the verbs, the adverbs, and we're looking for a bonus thing as well, which I'm going to talk about when we get onto the slide. So we're going to see if we can find any exciting adjectives, verbs, adverbs, and similes. Similes incorporate adjectives along with something else. So it's not just as simple as having an adjective, it has something else as well. So I'm going to grab my highlighter pen and I'm going to grab my yellow highlighter pen because we're going to search for adjectives first of all. Remember, adjectives are words that describe things. So we're going to read the first bit. The date's up here and it says, "Hi Samantha, this holiday has been fantastic so far." Is there a word that describes what the holiday was like there? Did you spot it? Fantastic. So we're going to highlight fantastic because that is an adjective. I have visited 2 amazing places this week. The first was Chichen Itza, which had so many steps. I climbed all 365 and was extremely tired when I reached the top. Now, what words describe things in that paragraph so far? Have you found any others? We found fantastic already. I visited 2 places. What were they like? They were amazing. And what was my feeling? How would you describe how I felt when I got to the top? Tired. So that's an adjective as well. So there's 3 adjectives just in that top bit there. I'm sure if you kept looking, you'd find some more. Pause the video now and see if you can find any more adjectives in the next sections. So in this one, I found quite a few adjectives. I found golden and sandy, both of those words describing the beach. We've got brilliant and blue, both of those words describing the sea. We've got the word warm. And if you look down here, we've got favorites and spicy, which describes the chicken fajitas. Jealous describes how the person might be feeling. So all of those words are adjectives. Maybe you spotted those as well. Let's move on now and grab the green highlighter pen and see if we can search for the verbs. So the verbs are the actions, the things which are happening. So in every sentence, there should be a verb. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense as a sentence. It might just be a little phrase. So if you look at the first sentence, it says, "This holiday has been fantastic so far." Has been says what's happened. It has been fantastic. I have visited 2 places this week. What did we do? We visited. So that's the verb there. The first was Chichen Itza, which had so many steps. Was is the verb there because that's describing about the thing that happened. It was Chichen Itza, which had so many steps. I climbed all 365. Climbed is the action there. And was extremely tired. Again, we've got was when I reached the top. Reached. That's another verb there. So I've spotted quite a few verbs in the first paragraph here. Pause the video and see if you can find any verbs, in the next two sections. We won't highlight them all together, but we'll maybe highlight a few. See if you can find any. So in the second paragraph, I found the word walked, which is about what's happening there. Walked down to the beach. Went on for miles. Was again, which is another good verb that we use quite frequently. And wait. Though all those words are actions, they're things which are happening, they're doing words. Let's grab the blue highlighter pen now, and we're going to move on to have a look for some adverbs. Now remember, the adverbs describe how you do that certain thing. And often, but not always, they end in ly. So I wonder if you can see in the first paragraph if there's any words that end in ly, and that might be a clue as to what the adverb is. I found one. Have you found one? Over here, this word ends in ly. Extremely tired. Does that describe the feeling of being tired? It does, doesn't it? It describes the tiredness. So extremely is the adverb there. What about in this paragraph here? Can you spot any adverbs? Here we've got slowly, which describes the walking. Okay. And in the final paragraph, are there any adverbs which describe how things are happening? I can't spot any either. So in this paragraph here, in this piece of text, there's only two adverbs. So maybe if you were trying to make your writing a bit more exciting, maybe your challenge would be to add a few more adverbs when you write your own postcard. Now we're going to finish off with the pink highlighter, and we're going to be searching for similes. So similes are a bit like adjectives because they are describing, but they're describing something, comparing it to something else. So a simile will have the word as or like in it because it's describing it like something else or as compared to something else. So can you find as or like in this text somewhere? I'm going to give you a clue. Have a look in the second paragraph. So after Hi Samantha, we've got the first paragraph and then we've got the second paragraph that begins with then. Can you find a simile in there? Let's read it together. Then I slowly walked down to Tulum Beach. Not there. The long, golden, sandy beach went on for miles. No describing there as a simile. The brilliant blue sea was as warm as a bath, and I couldn't wait to dive in for a swim. What's the simile there? It's as warm as a bath. As warm as a bath compares it to a bath, but it's saying that it's warm. So it's got the adjective warm in it, but it's comparing it to a bath. Obviously, the blue sea is not a bath. Wouldn't be good to have that as a bath, would it? But it's saying it's as warm as a bath. So it's comparing it to something else. So hopefully you're able to find some of the adjectives, verbs, adverbs, and similes with me. Now, for your main task today, you're going to be given some sentences that could be part of an exciting postcard from someone visiting Mexico. Your job is to see if you can add in some interesting adverbs, verbs, and adjectives in the correct places. If there's any mistakes with the punctuation as well, so for example, if there's any capital letters or full stops missing, if there should be a question mark or an exclamation mark or a comma or anything else missing, perhaps you could add that in as well to correct that for me. If you'd like a challenge as an extension, I wonder if you could create your own sentence, maybe using a simile like we had for describing the sea. So that's your challenge for today. Remember, you can download the task from DB Primary and don't forget to upload it and ask for help if you need.